Extreme fatigue, joint pain, memory loss and paralysis. Some of the symptoms of Lyme disease, which you can get from being bitten by an infected tick. It's a growing problem here in the UK, but it's reaching epidemic proportions in France, where there are 33,000 official cases a year. The situation has become so bad that the French authorities have launched an action plan to fight it. John Lawrenson reports from the village of Foucherolles in central France.
A nurse arrives at the home of the Gélès family. Their eldest, 12-year-old Constantine, has Lyme disease and must take antibiotics for a year, this month intravenously.
I'm a girl guide, so I get a lot of ticks in the forest. I didn't have the red ring that often appears around the tick bite when you get Lyme's disease. But then the symptoms started. My eyes hurt, my joints too. I was exhausted all the time. It was then I did a blood test and it was positive.
Catch it right at the start and you can hit Lyme disease on the head with a week of penicillin. But as Constantine's story shows, getting the right diagnosis is not easy. There are probably very many people who have the disease and do not know it. And for many that do is the fear of what this disease in its worst form can bring. This is Constantine's father, Philippe.
For my wife, it's really hard. She's afraid.
She's afraid that there could be long-term effects for your child.
Yeah, especially neurological effects. She has friends who were touched by this disease.
And it went badly?
Really badly. They get handicapped.
On wheelchairs?
On wheelchairs. So, for her, it's really hard to bear. That is why she has not come with us, because if she begins to speak about this, she will cry.
When I go to meet Professor Christian Perron, probably the foremost Lyme specialist in France, he's just finishing up with a patient whose condition is the one many Lyme sufferers fear most. 18 years she's been suffering from the disease, she tells me, several of those in bed. Now, thanks to Dr. Perron, she can walk, albeit with a Zimmer frame. This woman's disease was never picked up by the blood test that many doctors say is unreliable. For many years she was told she had a mental problem. Says Dr. Perron, she's not alone.
It's a real scandal because you have millions of patients suffering from chronic Lyme disease or associated diseases transmitted also by ticks. They are suffering a lot. They have great fatigue, pain that is horrible. They cannot work. They have cardiac, neurologic, psychiatric, joint problems, major problems. And the physicians perform the test. They say it's negative, so they say it's in your head. You are not ill at all. It's psychosomatic. And that's not possible anymore to treat people like that.
Things are changing, though. France unveiled a national plan for fighting Lyme disease last September that promises better prevention and more research and recognises the existence of a chronic form of the disease, unlike the medical authorities in the UK and the US, who remain sceptical. Everyone agrees, though, that you need to be careful. Step into woods like this one near Paris, and you can be pretty sure that lots of little creatures have smelt your presence and are crawling towards you to feed on your blood. Pierre Ecker, Vice President of the victims group France Lyme.
Ticks have existed for millions of years. They sucked dinosaur blood. They don't have brains or eyes, but they do have receptors that detect changes of smell, vibrations and carbon.
And that, dear listener, means you. Back with the Gélès family, it's supper time. Has Constantine's Lyme disease changed the way they see nature? I ask Philippe. Yes, he says. Now when they go for walks, it's long trousers tucked into socks and tick repellent sprayed around the ankles. And they're thinking of ending one family tradition. Because they won't change their uniform, they're thinking of pulling all their children out of the guides and the scouts.
And that report was from John Lawrenson.